For those of you who haven't seen my review of the first Bionicle movie, let me explain. Bionicle was a very successful toy brand that lasted for over a decade. It spawned 4 movies and a series of comics. The Bionicle characters were humanoid creatures that lived in a fictional universe. Bionicle 2, Legends of Metru-Nui, is more of a prequel than a direct follow-up to the first film. You see, the Bionicle creatures have 3 stages. Mataron, which are pint-sized youths, then Toa, adult warriors with magic powers, and finally Turaga, who are wise shamans. Bionicle 2 is about the early days of the Turaga characters seen in the first Bionicle movie. It shows the Toa stages of this generation as they embrace their newly gifted adulthood. The whole movie is about how these characters discover their powers while also trying to take on a younger version of the villain from the first Bionicle film. So, how does Bionicle 2 stand up? Compared to Mask of Light, this prequel is far less convoluted, but still remains weak. My biggest problem has to be with the pace of the film. It's animated and edited with a hyperactive speed, and this not only makes it hard to follow at times, but also makes the movie seem shorter than it really is. Then again, I didn't feel like much was even happening. The story seems paper thin because of the lack of character development. You see, like the first film, the characters don't have any personalities or seem obnoxious. They also share little chemistry and never get along, ever. Their relationships never progress or blossom or change. There's no strong scenes showcasing teamwork skills, and there's no focus on their relationships, yet the film actually has the cheek to round the climax off with a conclusive message about unity. So, with a lack of character building or relationship building, the film falls back on a series of action set pieces rather than a progressive narrative about friendship or teamwork. These action set pieces may be fun, but what makes things less exciting is the fact that the characters' powers are handed to them. They don't have to earn their magical abilities. Their masks just glow and so that they can perform their powers. Without a sense of self-discovery or wonder, these scenes come off as quite contrived. To top it off, these powers are disappointingly far from unique because we've seen them all before. Invisibility, the power to talk to animals, shapeshifting, mind control, blah 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 blah. We've seen all these powers before, and the film doesn't show any of them in a new light. Sure, the powers are convenient, but they don't provide anything fresh. Now, like I said, the action set pieces are very fun. They make good use of the scenery surrounding the characters. However, the action would be more engaging if we cared more about these characters. The animation is once again reasonably okay. It's fluid and conveys what it needs to, but it's the visual effects that outshines the animation itself. Much like the first film, the rendering for the backgrounds are really poor. I get the impression that most of the texturing effort went towards the Bionicle characters. Now, you may argue, wait, Jambareeqi, look, the backgrounds are meant to look plastic because these are toys. No, the Bionicle films are set in a fictional universe. The Bionicle universe is meant to be organic. It's not supposed to be a children's plastic playset. This is not Toy Story, okay? Therefore, the only reason for me to forgive the poor rendering is to consider that perhaps the budget had a limit. Once again, the designs of the characters make it difficult to distinguish them from each other, but Bionicle 2 features some awesome new character designs that are very impressive. The supporting villains in particular have some excellent designs. Now, the voice acting is okay like the first film, but some voices sound like overtread character voices that we've heard many times before in other cartoons. Some voices also don't seem to fit their characters. Despite this, performances are clear and convey the right emotions. The music for Bionicle 2 is extraordinary, a sweeping orchestral score that exceeds the usual standards of a straight-to-video production. It's a music score that seems to belong to a major Hollywood epic rather than a movie of this kind. To conclude, Bionicle 2 suffers from a lack of ideas, no sign of character development, and provides nothing new as a prequel. I was severely disappointed by how little it had to show about the previous generation. Next week I'll be reviewing Bionicle 3, Web of Shadows.